Hey guys, welcome back, and this is another video from Tech with Fies. And in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how loops work. And this is the part 12, so if you guys haven't seen my last part of the Python series, then I'll be leaving the link in the description. So make sure to go and check those parts out before you go through this part. Alright, so let's get started. Nothing is worse than having to do the same thing over and over again. There's a reason why some people count sheep when they're having troubles falling asleep, and there's nothing to do with the amazing sleeping induction power of woolly mammals. It's because endlessly repeating something is boring and your mind can drop off to sleep more easily. If you're not focusing on something interesting, Programmers don't particularly like repeating themselves either, unless they are also trying to fall asleep. Thankfully, most programming languages have what is called a for loop, which repeats things like other programming statements and blocks of codes automatically. In this video, we will look at for loops, and well as another type of loop that Python offers, the while loop. Using for loops to print hello 5 times in Python, you could do something like this: print hello. You could do something like this 5 times, but this is rather ridiculous. Instead, you could use for loop to reduce the amount of typing and repetition, like this, like for x in range 0, 5, and we do print so as you guys can see, you can do it like this, or you can just go do it like print hello like 5 times, but that would take way too long. The range function can be used to create a list of numbers ranging from a starting number up to the number just before the ending number. That may sound a little confusing, but let's combine the range function with the list function to see exactly how this works. The range function doesn't actually create a list of numbers. It returns an interactor, which is a type of Python object especially designed to work with loops. However, if we combine range with list, we get a list of numbers. So like this: print print list range, and then we do 10. In the case of the for loop, the code is actually telling Python to do the following right here: starting counting from 0 and stopping before reaching 5. For each number we count stores the value in the variable x. The Python executes the block of code note that there are 4 additional spaces at the beginning of the line. Ideal will have automatically indented this for you. When we hit enter after the second line, Python prints hello 5 times. We could also use the X in our print statement to count the hellos, like for X in range 0, 5, and then print hello, and then percentage s, and then percentage x, and then we should get, if we get rid of the for loop again, our code might look something like print hello percentage s percentage x. So using the loop has actually saved us from writing 8 extra lines of code. So if we wouldn't have written the loop, then we would have to actually done it like ourselves. So print hello percentage s, and then percentage x. If we keep doing that, then it's gonna take us way longer. So I would suggest just doing the loop. That would just save time. Or if you're actually writing a program that you need to do it like this, then that's your choice. So using the loop has actually saved us from writing 8 extra lines of code, as I said earlier. Good programmers hate doing things more than once. So the for loop is one of the most popular statements in a programming language. You don't need to stick to using the range and list function when making for loops. You could also use a list you have already created, such as the shopping list from I believe in one of my earlier videos. I don't really remember, but it was something like this: wizard underscore list equals spider legs, toe of frogs, and then snail, snug, and then bat wings, and then slug butter, and then bear burp, and then okay, and then for I in wizard 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 list, print I. This code is a way of saying for each item in wizard list, store the value in the variable I, and then print the contents of the variable. Again, if we get rid of the for loop, we we would need to do something like this: wizard underscore list equals 1 second. I'm gonna just copy this. I'm gonna paste it right here, and then print wizard wizard underscore list, and then 0. So if you guys are wondering why I'm typing 0, then that's because Python doesn't actually so let's say this is a list, so we read it as this is the first thing, this is the second thing in the list, and third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So this is how Python reads it. Python reads spider legs as the number 0, and then 1, and then 2, and then 3, 4, 5. So Python is basically reading this, that Python thinks there is 5 list here, because if you ask Python, it's gonna say there are 5. So but for us there's 6. So Python actually reads the number 0 as a number. So if you guys were just wondering, then that's the explanation for that. So that if we're gonna print it like that, then we're gonna have to do it in a longer way, basically. So now print wizard underscore list, and then 1. Then we get the second item in the list. So we can keep going on, like snail tongue, bat wings, like 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get the idea. Alright, so once again the loop has saved us a lot of typing. Let's create another loop. Type the following code into the shell. It should automatically indent the code for you. So huge H-A-I-R-Y hairy pants equals 1 second, huge H-A-I-R-Y hairy P-A-N-T-S pants, and then for I in huge H-A-I-R-Y hairy P-A-N-T-S pants, print I, and print I. In the first line, we create a list containing huge hairy pants, and in the next line we loop through the items in that list, and each item is then assigned to the variable I. We print the content of the variable twice in the next 2 lines, and pressing enter on the next blank line tells Python to end the block, and it then runs the code and prints each element of the list twice. Remember that if you enter the wrong number of spaces, you will end up with an error message. If you enter the preceding code with an extra space on the 4th line, Python would display the indentation error. So if you do it like, let's take this and then copy it, paste it here, enter, and we take for I in huge hairy pants. For I in huge hairy pants, and then we put hold on one second, where am I? Okay, and then we put print I, print I, print I. One second. There you go. Why did we, one second. Let's try this again. Huge hairy pants. And then for I, we write space print I. As you learn in, so you guys can see we just got a syntax error, and I'll be explaining why we got the error. As you learn in the Python, when one of my videos, I think it was the 5th video, the Python accepts the number of spaces in a block to be consistent. It doesn't matter how many spaces you insert, as long as you use the same number of every line, every new line. Here are more complicated examples of a more loop with the 2 blocks of code. So huge for huge hairy. One second, we just grab this code right here and then paste it right here, and then for I in huge hairy pants, print I for J in huge hairy pants, print J. Where are the blocks in this code? The first blocks in the first block is the first for loops. So like this. For huge hairy pants, enter. For I in huge hairy pants, print I, and then for J in huge hairy pants, these lines are the first block. So these lines are the first. And seem to the second block. Okay. No, we weren't supposed to. Oh, I'm sorry. We weren't supposed to get this error. My bad. That's my fault. Print I forgot to put in for J in huge hairy pants. And then as we wrote, these are the first block. these are the first block. So then print J D, and then this is the first block as I just showed, and then the second block is huge hairy pants. I'm gonna take this, put it right here, and then for I in huge hairy pants, for I in huge hairy pants, print so this is the second block. Yeah, this is the second block right here. So that's it, guys, for me today. I know I was a little late on my videos. I'm sorry about that, but finally my part 12 is here. So I hope you guys learned something new, and I'll be posting a new video pretty soon. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye bye.